Now let's talk about supremacy as a demand driver. This is my personal favorite, and that's because it allows a lot of flexibility and the time to maturity can be relatively short. Specifically, if you understand consensus well, the time to market can be way shorter than any other driver for assurance. What is supremacy? Supremacy stems from the desire of a supplier, a business, or a set of business, or a set of people within an industry to exceed and go beyond what is probably the minimum required. And it's very interesting to know, read about, is that a lot of larger conformity programs or traditional conformity programs or marks have their genesis in the desire for supremacy by a set of people within an industry cluster. Let me pick another category from the needs versus want slide and pick a category of products. And how does supremacy or going beyond that could be driven by the industry? Well, there are a very large number of examples, but I want to pick one which is probably visible to you almost all the time, but you may not have taken notice. Have you seen this logo? I am very sure you're surrounded by products where you see this mark. Do you think this mark is owned by a government? Do you think there is a regulatory requirement set in by a government body or a set of government bodies who created this conformity program? It came about from a Wi-Fi alliance. There is an alliance of people who created a mark which is Wi-Fi certified. Maybe you were familiar with this, but if you were not, then you are the person who should look through this more carefully because there exists a very, very interesting lesson in these slides. The Alliance, who celebrated 25 years recently, working on key guiding principles of leadership, advocacy, and collaboration, is a worldwide network of companies that bring you Wi-Fi, one of the world's most valued communication technologies. Ever wondered how this would have come about? The global economic value of Wi-Fi is expected to reach 5 trillion US dollars by the year 2025, and billions of devices shipped each year. Wi-Fi is one of the greatest success stories of the technology era. How did this alliance come to be? We should study this in depth for you to understand how this has come to be. Let's glance at some of the trademark constructs the alliance has created over the years. Are any of these symbols familiar to you? In case you are not from the industry, you may have seen some in the table below, but less likely to have noticed the logos, symbols in the table above. Ever wondered how this standardization has come to be and is being implemented or driven? You may notice the word certified here. You also have the logo of a Wi-Fi Alliance member and an authorized testing laboratory. This is what I like. A set of people coming together towards a common goal creating a construct that is required to bring about standardization, and of course using the R&D toolbox to create conformity programs which deliver high degree of assurance. Here, this alliance created a test suite that brings about standardization of Wi-Fi products. And in the essence of a lot of things in this industry, this is something which is almost open source. You can look up the test suite and get ready for your product, solution, system to make sure that you abide by the standard requirements created by the alliance. This is a very typical case of a supremacy-led assurance program that is currently evolved a lot and is a very well developed program. You can read about this in great detail. All of this is from the website of the Wi-Fi Alliance, and there are thousands of such programs, structures, which are already in practice. Some are brand new, some are just created, and an extremely large numbers are waiting to be created by people like you. There exists a massive opportunity right there to tap. Mind you, this is a program that was created by a set of people within an industry, sculpted and structured and evolved over the years to a stage where now governments, contracts, and various jurisdictions could call it externally for procurement and get the much needed assurance for it. Part of the symbiotic framework of this successful program are actually the conformity bodies. Here you can see a very long list of labs who are part of this alliance. You will notice that some of the names on this list might be international conformity bodies, others could be just labs or part of association or other entities who are all equal members of the alliance, and all of them bring about some level of sanity, some level of framework into the program. Now, you are probably thinking in this direction, probably not, but I would like you to look around and think more so that you can prepare the end of this module exercise, which is to create a brief note of two made up conformity programs. These do not exist as of now. You have to come up with them. One of them, which can be, would be potentially backed by a regulatory framework, and the other by a supremacy framework. List the stakeholders that you are aware of, name companies, name businesses. This is a very interesting exercise because this is something that does not exist, and you can view this as a potential opportunity around you. Be as detailed as you can get. Talk about names of businesses if you can, the framework, what it would be based on, which Casco standards will come into play, etc. This will be discussed at a later point. I wish you luck.